In. Tell me when you can see me. I guess that's when we know we're live.
Yeah.
I'm live, I think. All right, guys, what's up? BobbyFi here. We are going to do a quick little rundown of my lineups currently on DraftKings. As you can see right now, I'm going to make some changes, obviously. I have PJ Washington in my biggest buy-in lineups.
What's
Um,
wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
which I actually think is kind of a clever play. Um, but I feel like there's you know, the Bledsoe Middleton thing. Let me maybe start off talking a little bit of FanDuel for a second because I like what I decided to go with on FanDuel.
All right, let's look at it.
At least as of right now, I might very well change it soon. So
Yeah,
trying to find a way to fade Ilyasova on DraftKings and play Lopez over him, like and just skip one of them. Like just that's one thing I was considering on DraftKings that I'm still sort of stuck on, um, which is why I ended up in a weird range with like PJ Washington and playing Lowry, and I think I might just veer a little bit differently over there. Um, but my FanDuel's loading, so it's taking a second here. But you can see like in my 445, I think you can see this one. Let me move the screen a little bit. Uh, yeah, I've got Luca, and instead of playing Bledsoe, I'm playing Sexton. The Bucks I have here are Middleton and Ilyasova. Still playing Beal on the other side. Still playing Troy Brown on the other side. So actually going for like a four-man stack, but not taking three Milwaukee guys. And I currently have Mitch Robinson as my center. Now, if I feel that I need to be that creative, I might stick with this. I don't know that I need to be. Like, it might be a little bit of a reach. But I also thought, like, I don't know, with everyone playing all the Milwaukee guys, like you could get an unowned Robinson who easily could outscore both Lopez and Gasol tonight, and is just going to be unowned in a really good matchup where obviously the minutes are always a concern a little bit, but he's been playing. We also have Embiid in now, so I'm considering switching over to Embiid and then paying down at small forward, or potentially skipping Beal in this one particular lineup. But as of right now, I also like Aiton. I think that I think I'm trying to spend down in this range, and I think that like I don't know. I'm flirting with keeping this as my center, and I think it's kind of a ballsy one. The rest of my lineup is mostly fairly chalky-ish. I don't think Troy Brown's going to have the ownership people think he does today, and I don't think Sexton's going to have the ownership people think he does because you literally have to just fade Luka then.
I don't think anybody's playing Sexton at all. Like for example, like what I'm going to do, like kind of off screen because I'm not showing my screen is I started off with Doncic and Bledsoe as my 2 point guards, and I'm pivoting off of those, in several of my lineups. And the three I'm going to go to is one I'm going to go to Simmons, and the other I'm going to go to Sexton. I just and the third one I want to run by you because it's completely ridiculous. But
I have him. I know who you're going to say.
Okay, go for it.
Exum?
Yep.
Yeah. He's on my other lineup, one of my other ones. I'm not playing heavy on FanDuel. I'm just saying the projections for Colin Sexton I think are a little bit higher than like people are not just going to pick him over Bledsoe. I don't think.
No, Bledsoe's like a lock.
I think that's how it is, but that's why I'm playing Sexton. Why shouldn't Sexton be able to outscore Bledsoe tonight? I mean, he's getting a boost also, and. Let me just see this. I'm sorry, I'm taking a quick look at an update.
That's all right because I do want to talk a little bit about Sexton because not Sexton about Exum because I have been like 25% of my DraftKings lineups.
25% of your DraftKings. Who do you have?
Exum, he's freaking 3,100.
Oh, on DraftKings. Yeah, I've got him in more than that. We'll talk about
good.
that. And now I hate him. Now I hate him now because he's going to be popular, and he's getting worse. It's like a downgrade for him to be starting, in my opinion.
I don't know. I was thinking about that.
There's nobody on that bench. He's a low usage guy with starting lineups, but he could be a good 6-man in spots, and it just weirds me out a little bit. But I don't mind it. Like I think it's a different way to go. I think he's not going to have that ownership on FanDuel. Obviously, look, there's some chalk here, but like this is a good example to me of a way you can make enough pivots to be different. I think you're going to get Sexton in the 10% range. I think you can get Mitch Robinson at 0%. I'm going to take a quick look at where some projections are on Beal and see where he's going to be, where I think he's going to be. But I think I have a strong feeling of where he's going to be. which is
So it's
probably around
funny
10 to
because
15.
I'm doing it a little differently than you. You're trying to pivot off of Bledsoe a little bit, and I'm kind of doing the opposite. I'm kind of pivoting off of Middleton a little bit. I kind of like the kind of like Bledsoe a little more than Middleton.
Well, of course, over here he's so much cheaper on FanDuel. That's why everyone's going to play both of them. And
Right.
I'm playing 2 large buy, like really large buy, and I'm playing like 10 of the $66 and all that
Okay.
stuff. And then like a bunch of 15s. But
Okay.
so in those, like, you're sure anything's fair game on the smaller ones, but like in the bigger buy-in ones, I am having a hard time getting away from this Bradley Beal thing. um, and I think that like a great pivot, which I just started making a little bit of, you can see I'm up to on DraftKings, I'm up to 25% Booker now. And I'm playing both bridges quite a bit. These are not guys who I expect anyone to own. Devin Booker, I'm going to play a little narrative card here, and I'll get to some questions and all that stuff, so please throw things in chat if there's anybody in there. I haven't actually looked over at that screen yet, but I want to just show real quick that Devin Booker loved Kobe. He was like more of a guy he looked up to than anybody. He always told him he was going to be the greatest and all this stuff. And just separately from that, Devin Booker in any game that's been remotely close has been putting up 50 fantasy points, basically. 9,100 in a game that should be close competitive. Add a little extra narrative street and a lot of emotion, but also with some time to remove himself from the game he just played. But he did take 24 shots in that game. I think you're going to see an aggressive Booker here, and I like the idea of trying to play Booker and Doncic together. And I just think that on DraftKings, you're not going to get the ownership on that when we look back and go, oh, they scored 150 between them or 160 between them, maybe even higher, actually. Why didn't we play them? I'm giving you a good reason. Devin Booker is, to me, like a phenomenal tournament pivot tonight.
So this is what I want to talk through with you, because the way I'm being different on DraftKings, I really thought about this a lot, and I think this is exactly what I'm doing. Is with these kind of all these upside shooting guards, right? That exist on this slate. You'll have Bledsoe chalk, you'll have Middleton chalk, whatever it is. But with all these high upside guys like Butler and Booker and these guys like this, what I'm doing is analyzing it this way. I feel as though the first group, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think the first group of those guys that are going to actually get the most ownership of that class are going to be Beal and Booker and Butler.
Where do you think Booker? Do you really think Booker on DraftKings is going to be owned more than like 5 or 6%?
I think so. I think
Okay.
it's going to be maybe in the 10 to 15, and
Okay.
Booker less so. I think Booker, just because from game log watching, people see that he always puts up a lot of points. And the other thing is that I think the Beal people are going to play because they're going to want run backs from the Milwaukee game, and I feel as though Butler is just going to be pretty, going to get, I won't say high owned, but what I'm doing to get my leverage on all that is going down even one level further, and I'm going to probably play Russell and what's his name, and Devontae Graham on DraftKings, and I think that's where I'm going to probably differentiate. Maybe I'm being too fancy about it, but I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. I think I'm getting a decent amount of Booker, like you said, right? Like Booker and Butler and the other guy that we mentioned, but I'm also going to get an equal amount of D'Angelo Russell and Graham, and just hope that one of them just pops off at like 3-4% or something.
Yeah, I love Graham. I'm trying to get more of him as we speak, but I want to answer a couple quick questions here for people.
Go for it.
Thoughts on Boban, if not for Kristaps or WCS? I think that's really bad, both of those plays on this slate. So I would completely not even consider that.
Oh wait, and the other guy, by the way, I forgot. There's one other guy that's going to be infinitesimally owned that fits that same kind of high upside, high risk profile. Is I am playing a decent amount of Morant on DraftKings also.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like the idea of playing Morant and maybe even we're running it back with either Barton or Jokic even. I started becoming a little bit more of a fan of this. But I'm telling you right now, if it's up to me and I can get what I think is going to be Booker at less than 10%, I'm going to take that shot. I think you're going to see ownerships grow when a lot of guys soon, actually, because with the XM stuff, maybe Booker will be higher owned because now there's a lot more money out there to spend. I also like DiVincenzo, and I'd like to get a little bit more of him than I currently have. Just going through my lineups real quick.
Yeah, I like him a lot. And we talked about him when, like 5 hours ago, that he was kind of my safe Milwaukee play. That was assuming Giannis was in, and and he's going to get minutes. And like I kind of agree with you at 4,100. He's only he's 300 more than Ilyasova. I don't want to say necessarily have to.
Who? What are you talking about?
Vincenzo.
No, he's way more than he's 4,300 and Ilyasova's 3,300.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's a massive difference.
Yeah, but I mean, who's to say that DiVincenzo doesn't score 35 points?
Absolutely. I think it's a great spot for him. Love the matchup. I got him at 35% right now. I mean, these are going to change. You can see the other guys I've got. I'm playing some of the I've got 25% Mikal Bridges right now. So I'm being different. You know what I mean? You have to find these spots. And first of all, we've seen Mikal Bridges put up 45 fantasy points before. I also found power forward to be a little bit of a tricky position. So where I wasn't going to play Troy Brown, who I also have at 43%, I decided I was going to play Miles Bridges, and sometimes I'm going to play them both together. The numbers are awful. The things look terrible. Forget the France game. Then you've got the massive blowouts. Go back a little bit to his normal 35-minute routine. Just putting up 30 fantasy points nightly, up to 45. At this price, I think he's going to be back more towards that 30-minute mark, more towards the 35-minute mark. I think it's probably going to end up around 32. So I'm willing to take a chance on that, but I honestly might end up pivoting a little bit with all this other value that's opened up. These are sort of pre the X and
I have Miles Bridges in 2 of my 20 lineups, which is a decent amount. You know what I mean?
Then that's we're way ahead of the field on that.
Yeah. No, I want to answer a question that was put in the chat because we're going to talk about FanDuel anyway. You know, somebody's saying Graham chalk on FanDuel.
Yeah.
You know, if you had asked me 5 hours ago,
yes,
Graham chalk on Graham, I would have said that he's going to be huge chalk, and I'm not avoiding him. I don't know how chalky he's going to be anymore.
I agree.
I just want to know the truth. I mean, I think that a lot of other guys are going to get ownership. I think that Drew Holiday is going to get some ownership. I think that
I actually think he still ends up being more popular than all those guys, though.
Probably, and I think Butler is going to. I just still can't see Butler at 10%. I don't believe it. So I don't know if I know when people say Graham chalk, XYZ chalk to put a name by it. The implication being that it's too chalky. I do still think when you go back to the original, data and analysis, that he's a tremendous play. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't. I would honestly, if I really had to say, I would be more concerned about Middleton at 70% at 7,100 than Graham at 30% at 6,400. Honestly, that's just me.
I kind of with you a little bit on that. I'm sort of thinking it out for myself. I mean, you could see. Wait, you saw before what I do with I'm trying to figure out what my DraftKings lineup was. All right, so this is like in my big build over here. You can see that I specifically went out of my way not to play Ilyasova with what is a fairly chalky lineup otherwise. But except for the PJ Washington part, the unownership of a guy who, again, I'm still throwing those games out, okay? And, even in the blowout game, he still played 35 minutes in that game, actually. But you're talking about a guy whose minutes are pretty locked in, got in foul trouble that one game a little while back. That's partly why the time was down there, the blowout against Utah. There's a lot of explanations, a lot of excuses for why he hasn't been there. And I know this kid's got upside. They believe in him. I also trust. I'm going to double check the splits real quick, but I'm pretty sure. For some reason I thought he was a little better at home. I guess he's not.
Do you have any money left in this lineup or no?
Which one?
The one that you're working on right now?
I'm working between a few of them right now.
No, but the one with the PJ Washington, the one on the left, does that have 100 left?
No, it's 100 left from being 100 off my perfect lineup. What I wanted.
Okay.
You know what it was, right?
I was going to say if you get up to Bertans, that'd be.
That's exactly what I was trying to do.
Okay.
And then I could just hammer away with the 6-man stack. I think that you'll get a little. It's still a little chalky-ish. So yeah, I mean, I still don't think Bertans is going to be that crazy though.
Yeah, I was just looking at my lineups and stuff. I was seeing if there was any 4,100 guy that I just even slotted in there, but I didn't. The only guy I had was Bertans at $100 more. I got a question for you.
If somehow everybody got ruled out in Miami, like happened a couple days ago or whatever, yeah. I would consider flipping this and playing PJ Brown at small forward and throwing a shot on Tyler Hero. Look, man. I think you got to gamble and take shots on in this modern NBA. I want guys who are shooters to win. That's why I'm always going to feel good about playing Booker. To be honest, I like Lowry, but I don't think I love him tonight. That's more the route I'm sort of thinking about mixing with. Do I want to play, and part of why I wanted to play Bledsoe over here instead of over there is because he'll be he'll still be crazy high owned on both sites, but the price difference could keep some people off of him here. You could justify that fade easier. And whereas Middleton is like the same price, so I also could end up taking Middleton out here, and then I originally go back to, maybe play Beal and Booker here. I would like to play my Booker lineups with the Doncic because I like Doncic tonight.
It's hard, isn't it?
Oh, I've got him on other lineups. Okay. You can do it. But to do it with the full Washington-Milwaukee stack is a little tricky if you're not going to use the cheap Milwaukee guys, except for Ilyasova. Now, this one I'd have to put Ilyasova in. But you see what I mean? Like, that's a sort of a good pivot right there. I like that for a hardcore game stack. And then you get the low-owned Booker and the Hammer to hopefully, get you 75 and bring you home. And the game stack that you just hope that Washington plays a close game.
Hey, I didn't really see who you were playing on FanDuel with your power forwards. I'm presuming it's Zion and Ilyasova, or those?
It's Zion and Ilyasova.
So I want to bring up one other guy, and then one other really just kind of ridiculous pivot. But that what's his name that Cantor is out, and what's his name, the other guy, and Tatum is out. I think Tice at 5,200 is probably worth putting in there. If I'm too chalky, you know what I mean? Not to say he's going to be that low owned, but I think that he's going to be forced to play just a bunch of minutes here. So I'm playing him. And the other guy who, if you really want just the uber direct pivot at the position is you could play freaking Derek Favors.
I don't think he's unpopular either, by the way.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I think that there's pretty solid minutes for both he and you see, I've got 40% Doncic over here. I want to see where the projections we really think they are on him, because I would love to play a low-owned Luka Doncic, Devin Booker stack when you have all this exciting value. Now, I just don't think I think people are still shocker priced with Booker. They just don't play him above 9K. They don't even play him when he's 8K.
No, and I'll tell you, it's interesting because I have 20 lineups on DraftKings, and I have a total of 0 of them with Luka, right? So and we talked about this. We were on the phone earlier that I'm still just consider myself kind of a beginner as far as just put these things together, sort of. And if I'm coming up with no Luka.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible that a lot of people are coming up with no Luka, and he is probably going to be lower owned than people think.
I completely agree.
Because let's face it, and not to say this is right, but there are good plays you can make. You know what I mean? It's not like you have to jam Luka in, and if you do jam Luka in, it does it eliminates your capability of playing multiple of those 8K guys. You're going to have to probably take your stand and go with Luka and Booker. That's the one that makes sense, right? If you're going to play Luka, to play Booker with him, and then you probably don't get to play, not to say you have to play these guys, but then you don't get to play Beal probably. You don't get to play Butler. I'm just throwing some names out there. You know what I mean? You don't get to play D'Angelo Russell if that's your thing. So there is something that you give up by doing that, but I guess that's why you can keep those guys low owned is because you're sacrificing something. That's why when you have a guy who's $12,000. It sucks up a lot of salary. It just does.
So we've got confirmation on Ilyasova starting.
Okay.
Which makes me feel that he's a little trickier to just not play. Now, the hope in fading him is that he picks up 2 quick fouls. The game flow goes away from him. Maybe off the bench you get a weird guy, or they go with a different type of lineup. They've got a lot of bodies left. And then that DJ Wilson might get some run tonight. These are the arguments for why you don't play him. I don't know. It's not a great argument, he should be in your lineups, and it's annoying to me. But I think I can eat this chalk on this lineup right here. I don't think Beal ends up.
This is the one on the left. You mean one all the way on the left? Yeah,
I don't think Beal ends up high owned.
My first look at it, again, this is just my gut instinct. My first look at it, there's just no possible way this could win.
Why?
You know what I mean? It looks too chalky to me.
No, I agree, but think about it. Beal's going to be what, 15% owned? Booker.
If you say so.
Why do you think everybody's going to play Bradley Beal all of a sudden?
because you got all these Milwaukee guys, and it's just such a natural thing to do.
I agree.
Looks,
Fair enough. Okay. No, I kind of agree that it looks like it to me too. And even Booker looks like kind of like an obvious type of guy. So what I want to try and do real quick and see if we can build this. We've got 5 minutes.
Go for it.
Can we give ourselves a real chance? And I'm going to end up editing this, so don't worry about any. You guys seeing this, you're getting privileged information, but I'm not going to leave my lineup the exact same on the air. I'm just going to go through some different possibilities. I want to make sure real quick I'm not missing any questions. In the meantime, while it's calling it up, let's get some questions in chat and see if there's anything that you guys need to know.
Yeah, someone came in Embiid, by the way.
Yeah, read me any chat. For some reason, I'm having trouble locating it. All right, I got it.
You responded to the Embiid question. Embiid is going to be one of my centers that my main center is going to be Ayton, but I'm going to use Embiid and Jokic in a couple, and I'm going to go. I don't know if I'm going to make it to Mitchell Robinson. I'm going to try, but we'll see.
I also don't mind Damian Jones on FanDuel, by the way.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
You want the 0% guy that could put up 30 fantasy points at the minimum cost? There's your guy.
Lopez is going to get money, right? I mean, people are going to play him, I presume. Right?
Oh yeah, he's probably going to be 35%, 30% on.
Okay.
I'd imagine he'd be one of the most, if not. I think that just Milwaukee's going to own all the positions. But also, Troy Brown Jr. right now is not projecting to have ownership. What
position is he? Small forward?
Troy Brown Jr., it's funny, he's written up as a cash game play on certain sites.
Is he small forward? Oh, you
small
mean
on power forward, which is why I like using him, because I don't like the power forward spot. I'm using him and a lot of, I like a couple other guys, but mostly, Ilyasova, obviously.
Yeah, I have Troy Brown in a third of my DraftKings lineups. And for the reasons we talked about earlier. Ooh, I think you lost your microphone a little bit.
Did I? Can you hear me now?
Now I can. I mean, Troy Brown Jr. for all the reasons I said earlier, that he's just gonna have minutes. He just is, and like you said, McRae's out. He's very active.
Well, this makes him a great play if he's going to be less than 10% owned. Tell you that.
I think he's very safe. I really do. I think
so. That looks like a lot of guys around 10% to me, even mixed with the high owned guys. But let's see what else we can do. I'm going to take a quick look. Mini game stack of Bridges Booker with DeLon and Luka. Bridges. So you were talking about
Yeah, DeLon.
Mikal
right.
Bridges. Oh, Mikal Bridges. Okay, that's why I was losing it. I was like, those are different games. Yeah, you don't want to play DeLon with Luka, in my opinion. You're fine and you could get away with it. I would say that you're giving up a little bit of upside. I do like DeLon Wright as a pivot off of some of the other value, but I think you're giving up some upside there.
He's my main FanDuel shooting guard right now in my main lineup with Luka. But I know what I'm doing. Like, in other words, like I'm getting rid of Luka with DeLon Wright. I'm getting rid of DeLon Wright with Luka. I really don't want to play both.
Yeah. So Eric Johnson, a guy I like a lot, who followed me forever from the Roto Grinders days. He asked a good question, because this is what the question is interesting, because it makes you want to be more skeptical about the Milwaukee plays in general. Thoughts on Wes Matthews, Kyle Korver, and George Hill? There's a lot of bodies on that team. Pat Connaughton, DiVincenzo, Bledsoe and Middleton can score. So can Brook Lopez can get up shots. So can Ilyasova. They've got a lot of bodies. So things could trend a different way. So playing 4 or 5 of them together is starting to feel less and less good to me. However, if you get the right 4, I do think there's a good chance that 4 of them pass their value. I don't think picking those 4 are as easy as everyone thinks it is. But as I'm saying that, I still have, I think I have less than the field overall of the Milwaukee guys, but I have them in my major lineups because I'm trying to pivot elsewhere, because they are good plays. Like, it's not like we're just pivoting for the reasons for ownership. They make sense. Love Joker tonight. A lot of people love Joker. You're not shocking anyone by playing Joker tonight. That's my argument also for, if Joker's going to be higher owned at 1,800 less than Luka, I mean, I'm just going to play Luka. I understand that I'm going to play Luka, and you know what I'm going to throw in? I'm going to get me some more Will Barton. I know he's been terrible, but that guy's going to break out really, really soon. Yeah, I agree. I don't think people are playing Beal as much as you and I think they are. I think that's our thing.
Maybe.
I think that maybe in the higher buy-ins, people will be onto it. Like, he is a great play. I agree. I'm with you on the play. Like, he's my guy. All right, so looking at the lineup right here, if we want to get different, Jaylen Brown is going to be the highest owned of the Boston guys, but they're all going to be under-owned given the situation, just because of the nature of this Milwaukee situation.
Okay.
So if I wanted to fade Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez, I probably wouldn't want to play Beal in that lineup. That's why it gets weird.
Yeah.
And Brown, who are 2 plays I like quite a bit. They're going to be low owned. So am I just forcing it by doing this? The thing with Luka is it's almost turning into a raw points kind of a night for me. If we get, I mean, there's enough value out there where we can play that.
Yeah.
Just interesting to think about. So I actually, the more I look at it, I'm sort of leaning towards what I've got right now, honestly. Like, I don't see this as being, and first of all, this is not to try and win a tournament with 1,000 people. This is trying to win a tournament with 400 people for 100,000 or whatever, how many people it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Or 500 people. That's a big difference. You don't need to have 7 guys below 10%. And usually, you know me, I'm super contrarian. Look at my other lineups that are in the larger field tournaments. 25% Miles Bridges. You know what I mean? Nobody's playing Miles Bridges. Fading Ilyasova in 42%. He's going to be 75% owned, literally. And we saw how that worked out with Hartenstein last night. But he wasn't starting. Draymond is the guy who's going to be, I think people are going to get on to him a little bit. He's just too cheap for, another guy who I just expect to come out. I expect everybody who's a superstar in the NBA or a former star or part of the person on the spotlight in these times with the Kobe stuff, I expect this to be the time where they bring out their best. Luka wrote a touching thing about Kobe today. I feel like these guys can show up, and I want to bet on the stars. So that's what I'm looking to do. Having said that, I do think this Milwaukee situation is impossible to just entirely avoid, but I think I'd like to get down to 2 or 3 rather than 4 or 5.
Yeah, but you make a really, really good point in that is that it's not so easy to. It might seem really easy to pick those 4.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it's not as easy as you think.
Yes. Especially if you have right now. I've got 4 that are on the same squad. I'd rather have a guy off the bench if I'm going to play 4. You know what I mean? I know Bledsoe will get to run the second unit some, but I would rather have a legitimate, just a guy who doesn't even start. If I was going to play 4 guys from almost any team usually, right? Because you're trying to get some of that bench usage, playing for upside. But I also don't need to get too creative and go off the wall.
Yeah, Bobby, Eric. I don't know about Cody. You can answer him. I don't know about Cody Zeller tonight. I just didn't get to him.
Cody Zeller. Oh, I didn't see that.
Someone's asked if Cody Zeller's a good.
I just didn't even literally. He might even have a game, but I can tell you that I 100% did not think of him. So what happens if I try and do this instead?
Let's see.
I'm just a little shy, but it's okay. I can drop down from Troy Brown because I no longer need to worry about stacking that situation. I'm going to have to get out of here in just a minute, but let me see one more thing. We just got another notification. Sixers starting Simmons, Milton, Harris, Horford. I do want to point out that if the slate was smaller, I think your Simmons call is like genius. But I think it's too big of a slate, in my opinion, to where that even if you're getting leverage off the rest of the field, it's not enough because there's enough other low-owned plays. But he could smash in a spot where he would be overlooked even on a small slate with Embiid coming back. That news just is going to take away any ownership he would have had. And we're still missing guys on that team. We're still missing Josh Richardson in the backcourt. And this is a matchup he would, if the game stays reasonably close, you'd think he would be all over, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick look at one more thing, and then I'm going to let Sheets either take it home or get out of here or something like that. I do think that, the XM minutes is what I'm looking at right now, and I'm looking at multiple sites, and I see him projected at minutes that I make sense to me. And what's interesting to me is that they haven't changed Middleton's minutes projection from 30, and Bledsoe's at 28, and they still rate to be the 3rd and 4th highest point per dollar plays on the slate. And that's at 30 minutes and 28. And they could easily play more than that. Can I get them all in? Is the question. I don't think I can quite do it. It literally would take like a Boban type play. Damian Jones, if he was minimum cost over here.
What about Damian Jones? It doesn't quite.
He's 41 over. He's 4,100. I could get down to him and then try and find a 3,100 elsewhere, but I'm looking somewhere else here. I'm looking at some projections here and looking at some of my other highlighted guys. The randomness of trying to play Myers Leonard just doesn't make sense in this slate, but he would be one of the super cheapies, I guess.
Okay.
The other one, here's an interesting one. Just in terms of number of shots versus minutes, Now, this is not a fun one, but what if he gets up like, if you tell me Matthews can put up 10 shots tonight at minimum cost and no ownership, like he's still the starting shooting guard for this team. He'll be on the court.
Yeah, what's his price? He's minimum.
He's 3. I mean, it seems stupid, but
well, what about? Is he better than? I guess he's got to be better than Connaughton, who might play like 0 minutes, I suppose, right?
Yeah, Connaughton actually probably has higher upside, but I think Matthews gets there just far more often. And then the other question is, what if I did the Luka thing and I didn't play Booker? I'm into this Booker thing tonight, though. I feel like I need to capitalize on at least having the insight to have this. I don't know why I feel it. I just feel it. So maybe what I do is I go over here and I play Booker on FanDuel, which is just a very easy pivot right there.
You know who we haven't?
Let's do that.
Whose name I have not heard you say since we started the live thing is Kemba Walker.
I like Kemba Walker, but I've lost some love. I've lost some of that love and feeling.
Well, you could also say that you just there are other plays that came up that were better. That's all.
Yeah, that's entirely what did happen. Okay, I think this is a balls out lineup with Mitch Rob, and I think that's what I'm gonna stick with in this version of what we're dealing with. I would like to have different centers. I actually could do. I could do the Damian Jones thing over here if I wanted to. I actually think that's kind of interesting. What could it upgrade me to from Troy Brown? That would put me at 6,100 for my small forward spot. Looking for 1v1 pivots here. Oh, baby doll. Baby doll, give me the slate-breaking performance. I think this is where I'm going. I actually think he's going to be owned, but the rest of my lineup is differentiated enough. No Bledsoe.
Let me look at this. So you Doncic, well, Sexton's a key, and Martin. Oh, dude, if you get Damian Jones home, I mean, this is.
It just differentiates me completely from everybody else by being able to do that at center. So let's go, man. Let's run good with that. I'm starting to feel good about that one, you guys. I probably shouldn't have given that much away, but look, there's still notifications coming, so obviously things can still change. But I do like that lineup. Okay.
Oh my God, Eric Lucas brings up a name from the past. I didn't even know he was still playing. Josh Jackson. Josh Jackson. He's still playing. I don't even know what team he's on.
I mean, I know. Did he get his two-way? Did he get his two-way contract picked up or something?
Oh, good for him if he did. He owes us some money, I think, from last year.
I think he's won me plenty of money. I got him wrong sometimes, but whenever you got him right, he was 1% owned, if that. And he put up he would be minimum cost and put up 60 fantasy points. It wasn't like he put up 20. He was never the guy to barely get you there. He was going to crush or he was going to kill you. So this lineup over here, thinking that I do want to have one of that game stack in one situation, but I no longer feel the need to have to play Booker because I just want that Booker Doncic lineup at least in one of my big ones. And it's easier and more popular over there, I still think I can go with it. This is an interesting spot though because without doing the Booker thing over here, I think you start getting chalky by accident with anybody who I like. I'm gonna look at who I have as my highest owned scripted players over here. I know Bradley Beal is now number one. Before the news, and then it became, the Middleton and Ilyasova combination, all those Bledsoe. Can you avoid the Middleton thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No?
But it's weird, though, because I'm stacking the other side of the game, so you know what I'm saying? It's just, I'm at that point of my thing. This would be the way to go, I think. Like him and Siakam or Butler.
Yeah, well.
That's you're differentiated there. I think.
I have on FanDuel, I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I have 11 lineups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 lineups on FanDuel. If I do Control F and search for Middleton, you're not going to find him. It's just the way it worked out, man. What can I tell you?
All right, so I'm going for it here. I think I've made my decision. I think Dante Exum, the Damian Jones being the weird pivot on the other side, the Dante Exum is not a weird pivot over here necessarily, but I can play Luka and leave 400 on the table, and I think that's interesting. And by the way, I think there's a really good chance Kristaps sits tonight. I want to throw that out there. I forgot to mention that before.
Oh, that's a big deal.
And that's part of my love for Luka, but also I love him anyway. I also think that Maxi Kleber is in play. Like if not, I just wish I knew with Willie Cauley-Stein. I don't know how much they're going to play him, but I kind of would be tempted to play Kleber. Devontae Graham is now out. All right.
He's what?
Devontae Graham is out. So now Terry Rozier.
Wait. Devontae Graham is out?
Out. We just got a notification.
Okay. Well, that's not a lot of fun.
Okay, so let's get Graham. First of all,
first let's get Graham out of my freaking lineup.
I don't have him in that many though. Thank goodness. But all of Graham is going to turn into Rozier plus a pivot.
Oh, this is so annoying.
What's that?
You know, this is so annoying. On FanDuel, I had one lineup with Graham that freaking left 700 on the table. You know that freaking forces in? Like Middleton, right at 7,100. What a freaking asshole.
By the way, I want to just throw another thing out there. I don't think this helps necessarily, but it certainly doesn't hurt Miles Bridges. I think it does help him. You know why? Because he can create offense in the half court, and partly that's what's hurt him. His development at the beginning of the year was that Graham really took that role. So, like, it was always Graham or Rozier. But I think Bridges is kind of interesting. In fact, that game is kind of – I just wish I could – I wish I liked Peyton just a little bit more. I do like him, just not quite enough.
Who?
Peyton.
That's a rough one.
I mean, it's a good play. I think people are wrong to think this is a bad play. It's a really good matchup. He's going to get the minutes. The pace is going to be fine. If we're going to attack this game, which I kind of am tempted to now want to try and do a little bit of stuff with, let's do it. Because I mean, these are just the lineups that I'm replacing Devontae Graham anyway. So I'm just.
Do you have any? I forgot who I was going to ask you about. Shit.
I know I want here. I just cannot think of his name right now. Bridges. I'm telling you, I've got that Devin Booker feeling tonight, man. Booker and Beal together. How can you fail?
I like it.
All right, so guys, if there's questions in chat, do you mind letting me know if you see anything?
Yeah, so I have Trae Young or Jokic. Boy, that's like asking. That's a really tough question.
Similarly owned, both solid plays. I would go because I like the Memphis game a little bit better. I would probably go Jokic, but I also like the guard spot probably better than the center spot today. Yeah, so I would go Jokic because of that. So, but I don't mind Trae Young at all. I have some Trae Young exposure for sure. It's a really good question. Look at all these Bridges combos that I've got.
Well, wait a minute. Are we
so
missing something here?
We're missing something.
Wait,
we are.
Are we missing something here? Are we not jamming in Rozier?
I thought you were going to say Malik Monk, who becomes interesting for some like.
Oh, well, that too.
But Rozier is not incredibly cheap over on DraftKings, and on FanDuel, it's talking about pivoting to Sexton, which is fine. I wouldn't mind pivoting from Sexton to him, but I don't think I would pivot from Bledsoe to him too much. I just don't like the idea of. I don't know how much. Yeah, I mean, I think he might be a better play than either of those guys. Now, where do we feel the ownership would end up with him? That's really what the question becomes, I guess.
He's got it. This is my theory, right? People are just going to cram him in, right? He's going to just be way too owned. No.
I don't know.
I'm gonna put him in one freaking lineup.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have some exposure. I need to reassess a couple things real quick. You can see I'm obviously getting some exposure here to him in some of the $66.
I still have Ilyasova in every lineup.
And that's fine, man. Like he's 3,300. He's starting. He's probably gonna be fine.
Yeah, and I still have
playing a ton of lineups that we get off him.
Yeah, and I got this. Trying to make sure I have no Graham. What's Rozier on FanDuel?
Let's see who else is starting, too, if we get that information. God, it's making my computer go too slow. I love doing it. I'm actually happy to be doing. I think we could do as good a job as the guys on Crunch Time. Let's get some questions in there.
Yeah, I'm watching.
Because I'm going a little bit slow.
Dwayne Bacon is starting.
Fudge.
What's his price?
What's his minutes going to be? He's got to be basically near the minimum if he's not the minimum.
Is he the same as Exum? Probably, right?
Jesus. What a annoying rule out.
Bacon is 3,000
But how many minutes is he going to play?
He's going to play at least 6. I mean,
yeah, but 30 seconds of those aren't even going to count
That's
anyway.
True.
All right, let me just make sure my gram on FanDuel real quick. I'm not doing it on the screen on FanDuel, but here, I'll do it on the screen. Got a couple FanDuel things open here.
Let's look real quick, see if any.
I want to see if we can get the projections to update.
I just said that exact thing. I want to see if any projections update, specifically with these Charlotte guys.
Okay, let's see. So we've
got plenty of time. You got plenty of time.
So we're going to go through and take Devonta. So anything with Graham obviously is out the window.
Just make sure. So so this one. Okay, so Charlotte. Yeah, Rozier is. Oh my God, Rozier's only 6,100 on FanDuel.
Yeah, so I think that he already just off the bat becomes an immediately like. It really depends on where we feel the ownership's going to be because.
How can you play Sexton right now? I mean.
It does start to feel bad. I mean, I can say that Sexton will probably, no matter what, play more minutes than Rozier. It's like, maybe not, actually. They're both going to play a ton. I just need somebody else to fill in here. I want Marcus Smart anyway in a couple long shot tournaments.
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't think that boys, unless you just the rest of your lineup is really chalky. I don't know if you could play Sexton instead of Rozier.
Yeah, I'm going to. I have 100 left, so I'm going to enter this in something else real quick. I don't have any money in my account because I put it on the other ones, but let's see. Let's put it in some stuff so I can at least see how it would have done. Win me a bunch of satellites instead of the 100K.
Right. God forbid it comes first, right?
No, seriously. Like, what if the other one would? I mean, it's happened to me before, obviously, but like
it happens to everybody, right?
It's brutal. Those swaps. What Grant Neefer had one of the worst ones ever with he would have won the million. He showed me the lineup too. Like it wasn't like it was a bullshit thing.
Oh my God.
But we were at the RG party and we were partying until 5 a.m., which he thought would mean, okay, well I'm just gonna play one lineup in the millionaire, make her go to sleep and not worry about anything. Not because I want to sleep in. I can't keep living like this. And then he ends up waking up earlier than he means to, and he goes, oh shoot. So he makes a switch on his lineup from Burkhead to somebody else. I can't remember who it was. And just didn't even have any other lineups out there. And that lineup was literally that 1v1 swap away from not only winning the million, but winning it by like 6 or 7 points.
Okay, so this is the deal. With the FanDuel, the one I'm going to leave one Sexton lineup in, because I don't have an extra 100. That'll be the one. The one Sexton lineup I'll leave.
I'm not changing anything outside of my big one. I don't care about taking the shots on Sexton elsewhere. Okay. And this might actually lower the ownership on Bledsoe, weirdly. Like lower it to like 50. No, to like 70. He's going to be... How does he not?
Who?
I just am wondering how if Bledsoe is like actually like almost contrarian.
Bledsoe's going to be...
I'm sorry, no, not Bledsoe. I'm sorry. Sexton is going to be like so crazy contrarian that maybe he is worth leaving and just...
Well, wait a minute. So here's the question. So who is going to be higher... Bledsoe's got to be higher owned than Rozier, right?
You know what? Why don't we just go back to the original guy who we should have probably played in the first place and play Rubio?
Oh, my God.
This point guard position is loaded over here. That's why I stopped playing on FanDuel today. I was like, I'm not going to keep entering lineups because I'm just going to keep swapping point guards. And sometimes I have the mood for it. Sometimes I don't.
I'm getting a little bit too much of...
Who is?
I'm just getting into it. I'm getting a little bit too much of this Russell Simmons or Russell Embiid thing.
Oh, I just have no interest in even participating.
I know, I hear you. And I got Harris. Why do I have so much of this game? Oh, God, Stu.
I mean, you know what else, though? I have to just point out that there's a lot of bodies available for Charlotte.
Yeah.
So, Rozier, well, he certainly makes sense. It's not like I would be trying to jam him into everything on DraftKings. I definitely like him better on FanDuel than I do on DraftKings.
Zion Ilyasova. Do I have any Kemba?
You got Rozier's projection on DraftKings is now.
It can't be that terrific. I mean, it's got to be good, but it can't be that great.
The number one is Ilyasova, number 2 is Bledsoe, and number 3 is
Christ.
I'm telling you, if I were you and just playing the other ones, I would leave Sexton into some, or I would play the 2 of them together and skip Doncic or something like that. Just because the ownership is going to smash that way now.
Yeah, I only have again. It's kind of dumb to talk percentages when you have only 10 lineups. I have like 11 lineups. I have like 4 of them with Doncic, so that's fine.
All right, just for I hate to cut off the guys. I really do get out. Any quick questions before we go? Because if I keep doing this, I feel like
Monk or Bacon. If Bacon is starting, I would say Monk.
Yeah, I think Monk, no matter what, is the answer for sure.
Yeah, Kevin Porter Jr. playing, that makes it a little less appealing for Exum.
For Exum and Sexton.
Yeah, but I'm still going to play Exum.
I'm going to play both of them.
Someone says Bam tonight. Yeah,
on FanDuel
I don't
especially.
mind him.
On FanDuel especially.
Yeah, I don't mind him.
These starters for Charlotte are going to get such a usage bump, man. And it's not just Rozier. You're going to see more PJ Washington. You're going to see more Bridges. And I'm just saying it because like literally there's 0% of anybody is playing these guys.
And it's not like there's like a lot of blowout risk. It's
like what is it? I mean, I don't even know what the hell who's going to blow who out and how.
Yeah, I mean it was a pick-up spread. So with Graham out, what's it going to be? Knicks by 2? I mean, like what's the big deal?
Yeah, I think I made a mistake of putting too much Beal in my shooting guards, but I mean, it's actually fine because you can play. There's enough good forwards now with the Middleton and all that stuff. And maybe the play that I'm a little stubbornly. I like to play the Bridges boys together, and I'm not doing it tonight, so I feel a little bit bad about that.
You know what I kind of like? I kind of like that in the end, after all of this, my highest owned DraftKings player is still Bradley Beal.
Yeah, I'm into this too. I think
aside from Ilyasova.
Don't you think he's gonna like? I think even with this new news, he's gonna be like that's gonna drop his percentages too. On DraftKings, not on FanDuel.
Yeah, that Giannis rule out was so big for Beal. I think it just like eliminated like at least 30% of the blowout risk. You know, it's
Yeah. I know what I want to do here.
Got a little too much Jaylen Brown still on DraftKings, but you know.
I mean, what's too much? Like the guy's a great play. He just became less of a good play because there are other plays.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the spots we want to stay on. I mean, that's what I made. I made the mistake of doing yesterday after talking up all the Bjelica and those guys, and then just not playing hardly any of them by the end.
Yeah, I have a decent amount of Middleton on DraftKings, so I'm not too upset about having 0 on FanDuel. I do have a decent amount of him on DraftKings.
Okay, wait. The last message just now said Deontay Graham illness will not start. Why would they put the word start in there just to mess with our minds?
Now it says update Devontae Graham starting.
No way.
This is what Abruzov is coming in on the chat here. We got a full 7 minutes, so we can figure this out.
I would trust that guy usually, but like that's ridiculous. That's a big difference. Let's get some confirmation. Will start. Yeah. Oh my God. Thanks, guys. Well, I guess I have a 1v1 pivot that needs tending to.
You want to triple confirm this? Let's see.
Yeah, I just got a message. I mean, I got two alerts, so I'm feeling pretty good.
So now Graham, now it's starting. Okay. So.
I don't mind leaving him in the few that I have over here, but I'm not going to play Graham. I mean, I don't want to overthink this. Let's just stick with what we've got going here. Bledsoe, Middleton, Ilyasova, Booker. That's not what we want.
What was the problem with him? Why was he?
I don't know. He said illness, and then it said won't start, and then it said will start.
On FanDuel, it says on the FanDuel app, it says out.
I mean, come on, guys! Like that's crazy. That happened to me with a baseball game, and it cost me one of the big ones once, and it just absolutely crushed me. The guy announced the catcher was out, so I had to pivot all my catchers, and I literally would have. I think I would have come in like first, second, and third in the tournament. It was nuts.
So what I'm going to end up doing, boy, this would be pretty cool if I did just a straight swap, Graham for Middleton, and 700 left. Oh God, so gross. Yeah, so I'm just fiddling with some Graham here. Let's see.
I don't like Butler and Booker as my shooting guards. I like both of them, but I don't think I would use them both together personally.
Okay.
I like Beal better than I like either of them. Except, well, Beal's a better play than Booker, but I'm playing a little bit of the Booker narrative.
DraftKings has on their app it says Graham out. This is such a harsh thing. I'm playing him now, but
I actually think he is the right long shot tournament guy to play. I don't have time to do all that right now, but I do have to cut off this real quick, this stream. Sorry, guys. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I just can't show my last edits because I am not allowed to. Anyway, I appreciate you guys tuning in. It's been great having you here. We will get the chat going, and we'll have another long one tomorrow. So you guys, good luck to all, and we'll see you at the top of leaderboards.
sounds good.
You can stay there.